Most people spend their lives chasing success, switching paths, searching for shortcuts, hoping luck will strike. But what if the real secret isn't luck at all? What if greatness is something you build, slowly, deliberately, through a process every genius in history has followed? This is what Mastery by Robert Greene reveals. The hidden path that turned ordinary people like Leonardo da Vinci, Charles Darwin, and Mozart into timeless masters. In this video, we'll break down the key lessons from Mastery, the roadmap that shows how anyone, including you, can rise from being a learner to becoming a true master of their craft. So, let's get started. Discover your calling, the life's task. Every person is born with something special within them, a deep, silent force that pushes them toward a certain direction in life. It's called your life's task, the one thing you were meant to accomplish in the limited time you have on this earth. As we grow older, that inner voice becomes harder to hear. Society, parents, teachers, everyone tries to pull us towards safer choices, respectable careers, or easy rewards. And slowly, we drift further from our true nature. The path to mastery always begins by going inward, by reconnecting with that primal inclination you had as a child. It could have been drawing, tinkering, exploring nature, taking things apart just to see how they worked. Those moments weren't meaningless hobbies. They were early signs of your deeper pattern, the seed of your destiny. For example, Charles Darwin as a boy was obsessed with collecting beetles, plants, and animal specimens. His father thought he was wasting his life, pushing him toward medicine or the church. When Darwin joined the voyage of the HMS Beagle, his childhood passion finally aligned with opportunity. That's when everything clicked. His purpose became clear: to study life itself. Years of collecting, observing, and thinking led him to formulate the revolutionary theory of evolution. Darwin wasn't born a genius. He was simply faithful to his inner inclination. That's what made him extraordinary. We all have this same uniqueness written into our DNA. Your task in life is to uncover that uniqueness and follow where it leads, no matter how unconventional it may seem. When you align your work with your true calling, every difficulty becomes meaningful. Every setback becomes part of the journey. Most people fall into what it's called false paths, careers chosen for prestige, comfort, or social approval. These lead to frustration, boredom, and eventually, a feeling of emptiness. To avoid this, you must have the courage to rebel against expectations, to explore, adapt, and even start over if necessary. The process of finding your life's task isn't easy. It may require reflection, returning to your roots, and rediscovering forgotten passions. But once you find it, something powerful happens. Energy, focus, and resilience begin to flow naturally. You'll endure pain, boredom, and criticism with a sense of purpose that others can't understand. Mastery doesn't begin with talent or luck. It begins with the courage to be honest about who you really are. Submit to reality. The ideal apprenticeship. Once you've discovered your calling, the next step is humility. It's submission to a long, often silent process of learning that is called the ideal apprenticeship. This is the period when excitement turns into hard work, when you begin your true education in the real world. Greene calls it your second education, the phase that transforms raw passion into skill. It's the stage where you must let go of impatience and ego and become a student of the world and of your craft. This stage is divided into 3 parts: observation, practice, and experimentation. At first, you enter what it's called the passive mode, the time for deep observation. Like an apprentice in a medieval workshop, your task is to absorb everything without trying to shine. Watch how people work, how power flows, how problems are solved. Greene calls this muting your colors. It means staying quiet, learning the rules, and understanding the hidden structure of your environment. For example, Charles Darwin once again. Before he became the great scientist we know, Darwin spent years quietly collecting, dissecting, and cataloging data. On the HMS Beagle, he wasn't trying to be famous. He was simply watching. He studied how species varied from island to island, how small differences meant survival or extinction. That silent observation later became the foundation of his theory of evolution. Once you've watched and absorbed, you enter the second step, skills acquisition. This is where true mastery begins to take shape. It's about relentless practice. Thousands of small repetitions that build neural connections in your brain. You'll spend long hours repeating what feels like small, meaningless tasks. But over time, you begin to notice something magical: improvement. This is the phase scientists now call the 10,000-hour rule. But Greene goes deeper. He reminds us that this isn't about counting hours. It's about quality of attention. Every hour of deep, focused practice strengthens your ability to think, create, and react faster than before. Then comes the third stage, experimentation, or the active mode. After enough practice, you begin to test your skills, to try new approaches, to take small creative risks. You start to see connections others can't because your knowledge has sunk deep into your nervous system. But throughout all these phases, be aware of the biggest danger: impatience. The modern world glorifies shortcuts, easy money, instant fame. Yet mastery cannot be rushed. The brain itself needs time, years of consistent exposure, to internalize complex patterns and make them feel natural. You need to value learning over money. Look for opportunities that expand your skills, even if they don't pay much at first. Seek experiences that stretch you, not ones that make you comfortable. This stage may not be glamorous, but it's sacred. Because every master, from Da Vinci to Edison to Franklin, began right here, quietly learning, failing, and starting again. Absorb the master's power. The mentor dynamic. After years of learning and practicing, there comes a moment when you realize something. You've reached the limits of what you can learn alone. That's when you need a mentor, someone whose experience can illuminate what you can't yet see. Behind every genius stands a guide who once showed them the way. This stage is about finding that guide and drawing from them with everything you have. It's about absorbing not just their knowledge, but their mindset, their energy, their way of seeing the world. Take Michael Faraday, for example. Born into poverty, with little formal education, he became fascinated by science. As a young man, he managed to attend lectures by the famous chemist Humphrey Davy. Instead of trying to impress him, Faraday offered to work for him, cleaning instruments, copying notes, doing whatever was needed. In return, he gained access to Davy's laboratory and mind. Faraday wasn't simply watching experiments, he was watching how Davy thought. Every movement, every question, every failure became a lesson. And over time, he absorbed Davy's power so completely that he eventually surpassed him, transforming physics forever with his discoveries in electromagnetism. A good mentor can save you years of confusion. They reveal shortcuts not found in books, warn you about mistakes you can't yet see, and challenge you in ways that spark growth. But choosing the right mentor is crucial. Not the most famous or powerful person, but the one whose spirit matches your own, who pushes you toward your deeper calling. And when you find that person, you must learn to mirror them. Watch how they make decisions, how they handle setbacks, how they balance emotion with reason. This isn't imitation, it's absorption. But there's a danger too. Many students become trapped in the shadow of their masters, never daring to step beyond. True mentorship has a natural ending. Once you've absorbed what you need, you must break away. The goal is not to remain a follower forever. It's to evolve into your own person, to transform their wisdom into something new. Think of Alexander the Great learning under Aristotle, or Carl Jung under Freud. Both eventually broke from their mentors to form their own paths. The moment you move from dependence to independence, you begin to claim your own power. See people as they are. The social intelligence. You can be brilliant, disciplined, and technically gifted, but if you don't understand people, you'll eventually hit a wall. No matter how skilled you are, your path to mastery runs through a world filled with other human beings. With their emotions, insecurities, and hidden motives, many talented people fail because they misread the people around them. They take things personally, react to envy or manipulation, and waste precious energy on emotional battles. That's why this next stage is about developing something crucial: social intelligence. Social intelligence means seeing people clearly, without distortion. It's the ability to look beyond masks, to understand what drives others, their fears, their desires, their need for recognition, while keeping your own emotions under control. Benjamin Franklin learned this lesson early in life. As a young printer and thinker, he realized that raw intelligence could make others feel threatened. Instead of showing off, he chose a different strategy. He spoke less, listened more, and let his work speak for him. His subtle diplomacy opened doors that arrogance never could. Franklin's success came not just from his intellect, but from his extraordinary ability to read people and adapt to them. See people as they are, not as you wish them to be. It's to step outside your emotions and observe others like a scientist observing nature, quietly, patiently, without judgment. There are two levels of social intelligence. The first is specific knowledge, reading people through small, often invisible cues. Body language, tone, hesitation, these reveal more than words ever can. The second level is general knowledge, understanding universal human traits. Things like envy, rigidity, laziness, or passive aggression, forces that quietly shape how people behave in every environment. When you recognize these traits for what they are, you stop taking them personally. You stop fighting against human nature and start working with it. Those who fail to develop this awareness often live in constant frustration. They clash with others, feel misunderstood, and carry resentment that poisons their work. But those who cultivate social intelligence gain a rare advantage. They move smoothly through life, spending less time in conflict and more time focused on creation. Awaken the dimensional mind. The creative, active, and mastery phase. After years of discipline, practice, and observation, something extraordinary begins to happen. The struggle that once felt heavy now feels effortless. Your mind starts connecting ideas that, for others, seem completely unrelated. This is the awakening of what Greene calls the dimensional mind, a state of deep creativity where rational thinking and intuition finally merge into one. At this level, you see patterns, relationships, and hidden forces linking everything together. You begin to play with knowledge, bending it, reshaping it, creating something entirely your own. Think of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, who as a child learned music through endless repetition and imitation. But as he matured, all those notes and rules dissolved into instinct. He could hear entire symphonies in his head before writing them down. His creativity wasn't wild improvisation. It was the result of deep internalization. This is the paradox of mastery. Only those who submit to structure can eventually transcend it. When your mind reaches this level, it becomes multi-dimensional, able to zoom in on details and zoom out to see the whole picture at once. You gain what Greene calls high-level intuition, an almost mystical sense of what will work and what won't. Scientists, artists, generals, and entrepreneurs who reach this stage describe the same feeling: flashes of insight, sudden clarity, ideas arriving as if from nowhere. You're no longer afraid of mistakes. You experiment, push boundaries, and sometimes even break your own rules. Greene calls this stage the creative active because your mind is constantly in motion, active, fluid, alive. This is mastery, not a single moment of success, but a lifelong relationship with learning itself. It's the merging of instinct and intellect, intuition and logic, discipline and freedom. And when you reach it, the world opens in a new way. You see more, sense more, and create more than you ever thought possible. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe.